Hey everybody, Chris with Liftkits4less. Hey, pretty excited. We got a brand new 2018 JL. We're going to go install this kit on this new JL. Pretty pumped. So this is Skyjacker's 2.5 inch lift kit. What I want to do today is introduce the kit to you, some components, some features of this kit. Not designed to be a step-by-step install video, but just an overview video. Some features of this kit, what you can expect from the kit. Obviously, the new JL, we're all pretty pumped to see how this turns out. I want to just dive into what you can expect from this kit, wheel tire fitment, price point, so on, okay? First of all, 2018 JL. Now, this one is Rubicon specific. The Sahara, the Sport, use a slightly different suspension system, different coil rates, so this kit will not work for that vehicle, only for the Rubicon. Now, basically the Sport and the Sahara kit looks identical, but the components are going to have different lengths, shock lengths, and rate to the coil springs, okay? The main standout of this kit, first of all, this part number is JL25BP Rubicon. Man, they got too many part numbers for me. Anyway, JL25RBP BLT. Again, JL25RBP BLT. That's a mouthful. Anyway, basically it comes with two configurations of shocks. These are Black Max shocks, and the other are their monotube. That's the only shock package currently available, this being March of 2018 now. Maybe Skyjacker will have more stuff coming out. But in the meantime, this is basic shock packages. This is the Black Max, the new Black Max ones, and again, I have a monotube option. I'm going to talk about this. This retail's price point is $570, so extremely aggressive price point given the quality of the materials. We're going to dive into that. Okay, the main features of this kit are the coil springs and the Black Max shocks. Those coupled together are going to give you your entire ride quality, okay? First of all, dual rate coils. So you can see you have a ride around coil and your high speed coil. Right around top of it, this is the top, this is the bottom, this is your ride around rate, this is high speed violent hits, more aggressive, right? So you got the dual rate. Now the reason why Skyjacker calls this a long travel kit is because most single rate coils are going to be this length, this kind of spacing all the way down. As you can see, there's significant spacing for this rate. So what this allows a lot more travel through the coil itself, front and rear dual rate. So they call this a long travel kit. Now, me personally, I would call this a long travel kit just because when I think of long travel, I'm thinking new custom control arms, adjustable control arms, longer control arms. So it's not that I don't want to argue with Skyjacker, but just personally speaking, they call this a long travel kit. They say with their valving on their shocks and the fact it's dual rate, they call it a long travel. So fine, whatever. But that's just what they call this. So fine, we'll call it long travel, but I'm more of a traditional guy. I want to see new control arms that are really long. So you get a lot more travel, blah, blah, blah. So whatever. Anyway, when we talk about these coil springs, what makes this, these are high-end coils. These are the chrome silicone coils. So your top 5% of all coil springs on the market, that's the technology they use. So these are quite a bit more money to produce. They give a finer coil rate and just incredible ride comfort. So why dual rate? So dual rate is the top. This is riding around. Those little bumps that come along, and all of a sudden you hit a huge bump. That's where the second rate kicks in. Now, guys, a lot of people don't realize on a dual rate coil, if you start loading the front of your Jeep with a big bumper and a big aftermarket winch, you're going to eventually take out the rate. It's just going to be single rate. So keep that in mind, that this is really designed for the stock Rubicon, no weight added to it. So that's the idea. Just keep in mind. All right. Also really unique, guys. The Rubicon, if you put these side by side, clearly you can see that the passenger right rear is an inch taller. So what Skyjacker did was, the Rubicon has quite a heavy fuel tank and it's not centered, it's on the passenger rear. So to load up the weight and to offset so your vehicle isn't sitting wonky, they added an extra height, of inch to the coil to offset that. So my question, and I'm excited to get this installed, see how this looks. You know, if your Jeep's empty, is the right rear sitting higher if it's full of gas? So it's just got me thinking. So I'll be curious to see how that looks. So keep that in mind. The right rear, the rear coil springs have unique numbers stamped on each coil here, so it's pretty cool. So you don't screw this up. This is driver, rear, and then this is the other side, DRL. So left, right. Okay, cool. The fronts use identical part numbers, and so it doesn't matter for the front. You just throw those in the front. Okay. What else? Okay. Also, key. You can see component-wise, pretty simple. You got new front sway bar links, longer rear sway bar links. The fronts, there is a directional. These go a specific way when you install these. And if you look at this, the bend goes. So if I remember right, the bend's going to come up and in for the front and up and out for the rear. Anyway, we'll show this on the Jeep, so maybe a cognitive will look better. Bump stop extensions for the front and bump stop extensions for the rear. So that's your major components. Really simple kit. Black Max shocks, for guys that aren't familiar with shock technology, this is hydro filled. You see, it's not banded, it's just sitting here. So you can pull this in, pull it out, you can push it in. Okay, this is valved for the Rubicon. Now, what's interesting about this shock is that an oil-filled shock is going to give you an extremely comfortable ride, super soft. And historically, there was a compromise. So as soon as you actually tried to off-road this, it'll start to heat up, you hit a boiling point, and then you get foam, and then the valving goes to crap. So what Skyjacker did, and this is truly unique to Skyjacker, they put a nitrogen bag in here so that it reduces the boiling point. So you're getting the performance gain of a monotube shock or twin tube shock where you have nitrogen, but it's not gas charged. So this is the ultimate in ride comfort because you're getting the super soft oil-filled shock with a dramatically reduced boiling point. So this will continue to perform even when you're off-roading. So guys that are going to use this as a hardcore off-road vehicle, don't go with this. Go with a Fox monotube, the Skyjacker monotube, whatever, high performance shock. But the ultimate in comfort for daily driving with the performance of off-roading, these are amazing shocks. So that's pretty cool. Oh, what else? Obviously it comes with shock boots. It's the hardware. Everything you see on the cable here is what it comes with. Also unique now to the JL Rubicon is they have low profile fenders. So really, the old ones were big, the new ones are much shorter. So what that means, you got a lot more clearance for a much larger tire. In fact, Skyjacker recommends with this, now you can run a 38-inch tire, 13.5 inches wide on a 9-inch rim with a 0 factory offset. So factory 0 offset. So that is just insane tire size. So you don't need this like in the previous iteration, the JK. You'd have to have at least a 4-inch to clear that size tire, and aftermarket fenders. With this, we have a moderate lift, 2.5 inches, and you're clearing a 38-inch tire. So pretty cool. Now they say if you are going to be consistently off-roading, they recommend coming down about an inch to like a 37, 12.5. Okay. Now they're currently just a heads up. Skyjacker does have a 2.5. And they have the three, what do they call it? 3 to 3.5. And I did ask about that. I'm like, what is it? Is it a 2? Is it a 2.5? And at this point, they're like, well, depending on if you got a hard top or soft top, I think they're so new that they're trying to just see how this settles out. This is brand new. So right now they won't call it a 2.5. They'll call it a 2 to 2.5. So they're testing this stuff. This is, like I said, they're the first company to come out with a kit that's available right now for you JL guys. With these chrome silicone coils, dual rate, you do get a lot more travel out of this. And for a price point of $570, and is, I think, extremely great value. I really like the Black Max shocks. So I was pretty pumped to get my hands on this. Let's see, anything else? All right, cool. So guys, remember, at any time you want to look at this kit or wheel tire or directions, there's a little eye at the top of the screen here. Click on that eye, it will take you right to the product page. If you guys get stuck, you need help, we'll let you can reach us, we'll talk to our installer, or any of the salespeople here, tech people are happy to help. Remember, we install everything we sell, so we're not just sitting in our underwear selling parts. We're here to help you guys answer questions. We put them on our Jeeps, put them on our customers' Jeeps. Okay, cool. So we will head out to that JL right now and see how this turns out. Great. Gary just finished installing the kit here. Remember on the JL, the coil springs on this Skyjacker kit, doesn't matter. This one can go, it's interchangeable. The rear does matter. Real quick, you can see these are the silicone comb coil springs. These are the super high end dual rate. You got the tighter rate and the softer rate. Also the sway bar links. So guys get a little confused on the way these, on the front it comes up and the bend goes in. Comes up, goes in. Here's your bump stop. Comes up, goes in. Passenger side comes up, and then as you can see it, this bends in towards the motor. Okay, we'll jump around to the rear here. Really straightforward. The rear, the coil. Remember the coil. This one's taller on the rear. Here's your big gas tank, and this is the DRR. It's mounted right on. That's stamped right on here, so you can't mix them up. Also, obviously, this is 1 inch longer. Sway bar end links. As you can see, it comes up and the bend is out. So it comes up and you can see it starts to go out. That's the correct configuration for the rear. And then here's your sway bar extensions mounted in. I'm not sway bar, but your bump stop engagement here is right here. Okay. Dual rate. And then here's the other rear, comes up and then the bend goes out. Comes up, bend out. Cool. All right, great. Now we took our pre-measurement. I'm really going to be curious to see how this sets with the wheels and tires on it, with the configuration with this spring being slightly longer. Obviously a big tank. I'll check the how much fuel is in the motor here, so we can get an idea of where this settles, and we'll take our after measurements. I know that guys I found interesting is that, you know, the 2018 JL is quite a bit lighter than the JK. You know, they're cutting weight, trying to get better fuel efficiency. These particular coil springs are significantly lighter than the JK. It's about 25% lighter. And I think, to be honest, a lot of the manufacturers right now are struggling with getting the right coil rate and having bow issues. I don't see that as a problem on this kit. We'll get a better look at that when we drop it on the ground and put the tires under weight, okay? Look forward to seeing how this turns out. Great, so obviously you can see we just put it on the ground. Dave, let's jump in here real quick just to show how this sits with this flat on the ground. So the coil spring has no crazy wows. Sway bar and links all line out straight now. It looks really good. We'll jump over here to the driver's side. Same thing. A little bend here, but nothing crazy. I mean, this looks good to me. And the sway bar and links are all lined up. Everything looks great. Real quick, guys, the measurements we had for the driver front was right around 24.25, and the passenger was 24. I'm going to go ahead and drive this around. It's got 3/4 of a tank of gas. We'll go off-road just a little bit, try to get the coils to settle out for our after measurements. And same thing here, Dave. Rear passenger side, we had 24 inches, and rear driver side, we had 24.25. So interesting. Dave, let's jump underneath to show these coil springs. Again, I don't see any crazy wows. They look perfectly straight to me. So I don't, you know, it looks really good. And then that's your driver's side. And same thing here. Even though this coil spring's quite a bit longer, a full 1 inch longer, it's not all wowed out. I don't see any problems. Cool. All right, I'm gonna jump in this thing, go beat on it just for a couple of miles, and bring her back and check our final measurement. Great. So I've been out driving this for a while now. I let the springs settle down. I took my final measurements. I think it's kind of interesting. Here we have a brand new 2018 JL, and then we got a I think this is a 2014 JK. And as you can see, the JK here actually has a 4-inch suspension system with 35s. Here we are with the stock BFG goods with only a 2.5. And if you look at it, I almost think the JL sits taller. So it's kind of interesting to compare them side by side. Final measurements, the driver front, we came up 26 7/8. So we gained a little over 2.5 inches in the front. So the passenger front, over here we had 24, came up 26 5/8. So about 2.5 inches again on the front gain. Rears were 24 and 24 before. After, the driver rear is 26 1/8. And the passenger side was 26. So we gained about 2 inches in the rear on each side.
I've stuck a level on this thing. It's pretty level. I can't see any crazy left, right. Again, it has 3/4 of a tank of fuel in it. You know, in terms of value, this is a pretty flicking good deal. I mean, you get dual rate, silicon chrome coil springs. They're long travel, so you get the benefit of off-roading and getting extension on these. The Black Max shocks, I mean, you add it all up, this is a flicking nice ride. Well, I mean, personally, I'm not driving a Jeep right now. I own a couple, but that's not my daily driver. I think for me, if I wanted to get a big tire under this and not go too tall where it felt like the vehicle wasn't stable, I really like this size lift. You know, gaining the 2.5. You don't have to get crazy, and you can get a massive tire under this. So, you know, my final takeaway from this is that Skyjacker's built a really awesome kit for the money. I think a lot of the manufacturers are going to have a hard time matching the quality, especially with those Black Max shocks. Ultimate daily driver comfort with the added benefit of the nitro to keep them cool if you do off-road. So anyway, awesome vehicle. I'm super pumped. I know the owner will be here shortly. He's just jacked to get this thing and go drive it. Now he's ready to throw on his big tires, but for now in his budget, he's just going to run these until they wear out a little bit, and then when he's ready, he can jump to 35s or 37s depending on what he wants to do. Okay, remember guys, hopefully you found this video helpful or entertaining at the very least. If you give us the old like button, that'd be great. Remember, please subscribe to our YouTube channel. Always coming out with fresh content. Always trying to bring you stuff that helps you make an informed decision. Again, here guys, there's a lot to choose from, a lot of options. We're just trying to be here to answer your questions. Always happy to help. Give us a call. Remember, hit the icon here. It takes you right to the product page. You can live chat with us, Facebook us. Remember, here at Liftkits4less, you get more.